This video is reviewing the musculature of the hip, starting on the posterior side with the deep layer. We have the Quadratus Femoris, moving down, we can see actually a muscle that's on the anterior side, but we can see it through the opening and the adductors on the posterior side. We have the pectineus. Inferior to that, we have our adductor brevis. And then underneath that, we have our adductor longus. The next layer superficially on the posterior side, we still see our Quadratus Femoris muscle and our pectineus on the anterior side. Here we can see the Adductor Magnus, which is the largest of the adductors, and it has two bundles. So the bundles that run a little bit more oblique with their fibers, and then the ones that run a little bit more vertical with their fibers, both make up the Adductor Magnus. The very most medial muscle on the adductor side, or the medial side of the leg, is our gracilis. Here we can see the progression of the glute muscles. So up at the top, we have our gluteus minimus, we have our gluteus medius, and our gluteus maximus. Again, those are all our gluteus muscles. Then looking over with our minimus, we have our piriformis. See our Quadratus Femoris again. Between our gluteus minimus and our Quadratus Femoris, we have the piriformis muscle. Then we have our superior gemellus and our inferior gemellus. Looking at our hamstring group, starting on the medial side, we have our semi-muscles. So the one that's more medial is our semimembranosus, our semitendinosus, and then on our lateral side, we have the biceps femoris, which has two heads. So we have the long head of the biceps femoris, and then we have our short head that we can see that's deep and slightly lateral to it. The muscle that we can see off of the posterior side that's actually anterior is our Vastus Lateralis. Looking at the anterior side on the deep layer, the muscle that follows the iliac crest is called our Iliacus. It combines with our psoas major to make the iliopsoas. It's only considered the iliopsoas once you have crossed kind of the pubis area on the pelvis, and they've combined into one muscle. Medial to that, we have our pectineus. Here we can see the adductor brevis and the adductor longus. Moving superficially, here we can see our iliopsoas, and then we can follow down and we have our pectineus, our adductor brevis, our adductor longus, and then behind that and kind of underneath, we can see our adductor magnus. Here again, we can see that most medial adductor muscle, the gracilis. On top of those muscles is the first muscle of our quadricep group, and that's our vastus medialis. Again, moving more superficially, we can see the four muscles of the quadricep group here. So we have our vastus group. It's combined of the vastus medialis, intermedius, and lateralis. And on top or superficial to those is our rectus femoris, as well as our sartorius. The four muscles of the quadricep group being our vastus intermedius, medialis, and lateralis, and our rectus femoris converge into the quadricep tendon, which attaches to the patella and then converges to the patellar tendon.